We've entered our last section of the chapter, which is on graphing inequalities. And in this video, we're going to focus on linear inequalities. So inequalities involving lines. This is kind of a nice section to finish the chapter with, because if you know what you've been, you understand what's been going on so far, this is a very natural, just one extra step to do. Kids sometimes freak themselves out when they see inequalities. I put this note in purple on here just to point that out. And give you guys a little confidence there. If I can graph an inequation, I can graph an inequality. It's really just a matter of remembering two quick little things, and then you're good to go. So, two things to remember when it comes to inequalities. The only difference is between regular, ordinary equations. If you see a greater than or equal to or a less than or equal to, so the equal part, the line in your graph is going to be solid. If you just see less than or just see greater than, the graph itself, like the line or whatever you're making, is going to be dotted. The second thing, if you see a greater than sign or greater than or equal to, so if it's bigger than, you're going to shade above the graph. Think about it. If you have greater than signs, you're going to shade, that's greater is more. You usually think of up when you do that. Less than and less than or equal to, you're going to shade below. And I'm going to show you how that works through 4 examples. So, 4 examples here, we're being asked to graph these inequalities. When I see y, you still want to have y by itself when you graph a line. That's just pretty standard to do. And now that we've learned those absolute value rules, don't forget about how to graph a line. Line, you start with the y-intercept. That's going to be at -3. -3 is right there. My slope says 2. I go up 2 over 1. I want a solid line here. Now, if this was just y equals 2x minus 3, which is pretty much what I did, I ignored it and pretended it was equal at first, I'd be done. The thing is, this is less than or equal to. Well, I already got the or equal to part taken care of. I made a solid line. If this wasn't here, it would have been dotted. And the thing is, it's less than, y is smaller than the graph. That's what this means. So you're going to shade below the graph. Everywhere where you find a point on the graph and go below it. You want to shade this whole part down here. And that's how you graph that inequality. For my second example here, again, I'm going to treat it like an equal sign for just a second, pretending that that inequality isn't even there. I want to go up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as a technicality on this one, it's going to be a dotted line. You can see, because there's no line under here, technically you need to have an open circle instead of a dot there, because if it's a dot, it means you can use the points. If you put a dot there, I'm not going to take off for it, but technically that should be an open circle, because we have just greater than here. And I'm going to go down 6, 5, 6, count it again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. I'll be right here. And again, I'm making a dotted line on this one, because the line itself, because it's just greater than here, the line itself is no good. That's not a very good dotted line. Alright, now I want to shade, it's greater than, so I want to shade above the graph. So what I'm going to do is put my pen somewhere on the graph and go up. This side of the graph is greater than, so this whole part here is what gets shaded. If it was less than, I'd put my point on the graph, go down, and that part gets shaded. So that is your solution. 2 more examples here. X less than -2. So recalling back to previous videos, x by itself means a vertical line. So I'm going to go to -2, and I want a dotted line on this one because it's just less than, not less than or equal to. I'm not very good at making dotted lines today, sorry. So I got my dotted line, and usually what we do is we shade above or below, right? Well, on this one, it's the only weird situation with this, which is why I included it, because, well, how do you go up or down? You're still, how do you know which side to shade? Think about it. When is x less than -2? X is less than -2 on this side, because here we get into positive numbers and stuff. So the less than part is going to be this guy over here. You shade that, and you're done. And our last problem in the video here, kind of combining topics that we've been talking about. You have to get y by itself before you can graph this thing. So we're going to treat it like a normal problem, subtract the 2x and all that good stuff. We get -3y less than or equal to -2x plus 3. When you divide by that negative, hopefully you guys haven't forgotten, you do flip that sign around. So you get y is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to 2/3 x minus 1. Kind of used my workspace here, so I'll put it off to the side. That was a bad graph. Draw my graph. Go to -1 to start out. It's going to be a solid line, so I'm going to put a solid circle there. I'm going to go up 2 over 3. Again, solid line, y is greater than or equal to, I put my pen on the line, I go up, this is the part that gets shaded.